Caleb Love is back. There are U of A fans out there that would rather have a freshman play than Caleb Love. I say they are wrong. I say that is silly. I think that is phooey. I would take the player that I know at this point as opposed to a freshman. What say you, Matt Muehlebach?
100%. I mean, I think there's a negative recency bias for Caleb right now because he had a bad game against Clemson and, didn't shoot it well, took some bad shots. Let's face it, he took some bad shots and didn't make them. And he made a lot of shots this year. Lest we forget, he was the Pac-12 Player of the Year. He
Right.
was the
Third
best
team
player in the
All-American.
conference and a first-team All-American. And I think it's a huge win. I think I don't know every backcourt in America right now. I mean, I've got some ideas on some of the other teams, and maybe it'd be hyperbole to say they're the best backcourt in the country, but I can safely say this is a top 3 backcourt in college basketball as we sit here at the end of May. And Caleb's a big part of that, obviously, the Pac-12 player. First time we've had a back-to-back, or we've had a Pac-12 Player of the Year come back to his team since Sean Elliott.
Interesting. Matt Muehlebach dropping the knowledge right there.
I luckily still am in the ear of our stat guy at the Pac-12, even though this is the last day. Our guy Mulligan, Greg Mraz, threw me that stat, so I'm using it.
All right. Now let's talk about the other players here. I am higher on Jaden Bradley than you are. Not saying that you don't like Jaden Bradley. You do. It's not what I'm saying. But
I do.
You do like Jaden Bradley. I am higher on Jaden Bradley. I think Jaden Bradley is going to surprise a lot of Arizona fans this year, including maybe even the Matt Muehlebach, who will be maybe broadcasting some of these games. Wink, wink, wink. All right, we should have led with that. Matt, talk about this. Whenever you're coming on, 85 people say, I don't care about you, Mike. Is Matt Muehlebach going to be broadcasting games? What is the latest on this?
I hope so. Yeah, working on that now. Working on it and trying to secure some games, and hopefully that'll happen. I think it will to some degree. I don't know the whole landscape yet, but hopefully it will. But no, I'm with you, man. I think Bradley's. I think he's legit. I know you've compared him to Jason Terry. I thought that was a little bit.
You think that's Mike Luke hyperbole? I'm saying
it's a little bit of high praise there for the flat build hat guy over in there, But I think when I think about him last year, I just think about what he and KJ did in the tournament. And, it's funny during the season, people get in sort of a mode and you're kind of in your system, if you will, with these teams. And I thought that, when the tournament starts, the NCAA tournament, that is, and even the Pac-12 tournament, there's an openness to the game that all of a sudden it starts to flow, right? That is not as system oriented when those games are like that and it's crunch time and it's do or die or go home. And I think you see the better talent rise, and Bradley and Lewis off the bench were phenomenal. I mean, I wouldn't say they surprised me, but they were incredible, obviously, with how they played, not just statistically, but I think how their force impacted the game and impacted on the defensive end and on offense. Both those guys, the one thing that's interesting about them is obviously they don't shoot a ton of threes, even though Bradley, I think, didn't he shoot about 40 some percent?
46%, Matt Muehlebach. Matt Muehlebach's shooting numbers from 3 for Jaden Bradley.
And he didn't take a lot. What did he take? 28 or something on the season. However, he made them when he took them, and he took a few in that tournament that I thought surprised me. But I thought the one thing, too, is they both get to the line, and Caleb gets to the line. You're going to see 3 dudes. They are going to be attacking the paint, attacking the rim, attacking the hoop nonstop the entire season. It's going to be fun to watch. They're going to get to the line a lot. And the athleticism for those 3 it's going to be off the charts.
It's going to be very fun. We're going to talk about that in a second. Oh, an ASU fan. We got the comments coming in hot and heavy, but I will highlight this ASU fan right here. He says, I Googled tournament chokers and it led me here. Well, you know what you didn't Google? NCAA tournament that led you to the ASU one. Bye. All right. Now, Matt, here's where I'm at with Arizona. I am at the point where I need guys that can get buckets when the going gets tough. We've had a lot of guys, and I think Tommy Lloyd's a great coach. I want Tommy Lloyd to be here for longer than I am alive, so basically for eternity. But I need guys that when the going gets tough against Princeton, nobody wanted the basketball. The offense bogged down. Nobody wanted the basketball. This past year, you had a bunch of guys that, well, really didn't want the basketball. And the one that did want the basketball was taking very, very bad shots. I need guys that can get buckets. Jaden Bradley was the one that slowed the game down. He was able to get to the line. He was able to get into the paint. I need more of that, not less of that. That's why I'm excited about Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, and Caleb Love. We will get to the front court here in a second. Matt, I see you shaking your head saying Mike Luke's an idiot. Where am I going wrong?
No, I'm agreeing with you. I think, this is the other thing that people don't realize about Caleb. You come back for one more year, and he's an awesome dude. I mean, that's the thing I don't think people realize. Like, I think I told you on one of these shows, I had a chance to interview him at the Pac-12 tournament, and Caleb plays with like a kind of an intensity. You'd almost say like a little bit of a scowl. When he's out there, and so. Guys that maybe like a Dalen Terry that was a little more, smiled a little more and kind of connected with the crowd more. But it belies the fact that Caleb's a really good teammate and people love him on the team. And he's a good guy. Like when you're around him and you kind of get the veneer of his like his intensity, because he's intense about how he plays. But when you get that off, he's a really funny guy. He's thoughtful, he's smart, and he's a cool guy to be around. And I think that's the piece that, anybody that thinks like a freshman's going to come in and have that kind of that experience, that history, that, like you said, getting a bucket, the alpha that's in him, and that kind of chemistry that's already there, it's not going to happen.
You played with, in my opinion, the best shooting guard in school history in Khalid Reeves. Khalid Reeves, as a freshman, as great as he was, is not better than Caleb Love as a fifth-year senior. You would agree with this, Matt Muehlebach?
Yeah, mainly because he played behind me. That's
I mean, let's be honest here.
I rest my case. No, it's like, think about Khalid. He didn't start. Damon Stoudemire didn't start.
Right.
I mean, freshmen. It's rare that we'll see a freshman. Even take a guy like Lively that was at Duke. And as good as he is with the Mavs right now, like his impact was not as great as he is even 1 year later. Like you look at him and just how much better he is a year later. Look at Jaden McDaniels from Minnesota,
Washington,
from Washington. That's now at Minnesota. I was like, I mean, this is where my GM hat for the NBA sometimes goes astray, because you cannot judge these young babies that come in at 18. You just can't judge them.